What's going on, Broncos fans? It's Mitch here to predict the schedule, the record for the Broncos in 2022. How will they perform? Each individual matchup, I'm breaking it down, determining if they will win, if they will lose, and what their record will be this season. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe to the channel for more BLV just like this. Also, hop in the comment section and let me know, Broncos fans, how will they do with Russell Wilson in his first season as a Bronco in an extremely difficult division, the AFC West? Let me know in the comment section below, and let's predict some games. Broncos fans, time to predict your record. Let's go. Week 1 at Seattle. Russell Wilson returns to Seattle. I think this is going to be a great homecoming night for Russell Wilson on a Monday night. Pete Carroll, eat it. He'll probably be chewing gum, but I've got the Denver Broncos big in this one. Showcase for Russell Wilson. Throws 3 or 4 touchdowns and has some fun in this game. I think there are a lot of questions about the Broncos. I will say this out front. I have a lot of questions. I think there's talent. I think some of the talent's been a little bit overrated a little bit. I do question the new coaching staff. But I like a lot about the team too. So this is one of the more difficult teams to really judge and predict because this is such a tough conference this year. There are so many teams I like, so many good teams, and the Broncos are a team that's just tricky, man. I changed my opinion on this team like every day. So week 1, obviously, that's a win. Week 2, I think you beat the Texans. You're just a more talented team, and even if you're lacking a little bit of the details and the rapport, I don't think it will really matter too much because you're playing the Texans and you're at home. So Russell Wilson should be good enough there. Now, week 3 is interesting because you play the Niners. This is a Kyle Shanahan homecoming game, as obviously the son of Mike Shanahan, the former Broncos great head coach of multiple-time Super Bowl champions. So there is that little bit of Kyle wanting to get back at the Broncos. But Russell Wilson has had success versus the Niners. I could see this going either way. This is a really tough game. But personally, I'm going to go with the Broncos. Just because I've seen him have success versus the 49ers before. I think his familiarity with playing their defensive scheme is definitely going to help here. I also think the Broncos, early in the season, Trey Lance is probably going to be a little bit immature and a little bit inexperienced. So playing in Mile High, the crowd, the loud, all that stuff on top of a tough defense is going to be a challenge for a young quarterback. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. Week 4, you play in Las Vegas versus McDaniels, your buddy. I'm going to take the Raiders here. And the reason is, I think the Raiders are going to be hitting on all cylinders to begin the season, even though that they're dealing with some of those issues as well. New coaching staff, a lot of new players as well. I just think Derek Carr gives that comfort at home in Las Vegas, pulls out a lot of big wins there in that stadium. And this one will be a lot of fun, I feel, and I feel both of these games versus the Raiders are going to be very, very good. Week 5, you play the Colts. I have the Broncos winning because it's a short week. It's a Thursday night at home. Hard to win Thursday night on the road because of the travel, the short week, the lack of practice, lack of rest, all that sort of stuff. That all combines. Matt Ryan's still going to be getting his mojo going with the Colts. I could see the Colts running the ball on you guys, having success and winning that way. But I do think that Russell Wilson played well versus the Colts last year, so I take that into account as well. And I do think you can attack their secondary down the field. Defensively, I'm a little bit nervous about that run game, but I don't think they're going to have a ton in the pass game versus your team. So I'm going to go with Denver. Week 6, I'm going to pick the Chargers at home on Monday night. Similar here to the Raiders, on the road, divisional game, tough. Both teams are good. Both teams have good quarterbacks. Chargers are really, really good. Or actually, you know what? I did say in the Chargers video that you guys would flip. So I did say that the Broncos would win on the road and that the Chargers would win on the road. And I have you guys splitting with both the Raiders and the Chargers and the Chiefs. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to talk about the Chiefs. But I'll just go over the Raiders one real quick. But I just think that the AFC West is so tough and so close that I feel like it makes sense for every team really to split across the board almost. I think there might be one sweep or two, but that's about it. I feel like almost every team that is an underdog this year in the AFC West is worth taking the points and betting on. That's kind of how I feel about the AFC West. It's that close. It's that razor thin. Depends on the better matchup. Depends who's healthier. Depends which quarterback comes down and plays better. Depends on turnovers. A lot of things like that. But all these teams are very even. All these teams are playoff caliber. So it's going to be really close either way. Week 7, you play the New York Jets at home. I've got Denver there as well. Week 8, this is a tricky upset game, okay? I've got the upset for Jacksonville. The game is in London, which is also a factor. Jacksonville's used to playing in London. You never know. Russell Wilson could be, relaxing, family time with Sierra, all that sort of jazz. I'm just making up storylines here. But Jacksonville is weird in London. Sometimes they pull off crazy upsets, and Denver doesn't have a ton of experience there. Denver might be sleeping because Jacksonville's not a very good team. But Jacksonville did beat the Bills last year, so take that into account. I believe they also played the Packers really well. So just take that into account. I'm just saying. Bye week, and then you got the Tennessee Titans on the road. I'm going to go with the Titans here. I think the Titans are a tough physical football team. I think they can give Russell Wilson issues with their pass rush and how good and how elaborate Mike Vrabel can be up front with all his different schemes and pressures. On top of that, on the flip side, I feel like Derrick Henry can really run the ball on you guys. If that's still a weakness for your defense entering this year, I know you added some pieces like DJ Jones to help that out. But I do think that the Tennessee Titans are still a tough team to play, even if they've regressed a little bit because of Derrick Henry, because of their run game, because of their defensive line, because of how they play. Mike Vrabel's a good coach. So going to Tennessee is a tough thing. I'm going to go with the Titans. You play the Carolina Panthers, you should beat the Carolina Panthers. Whether it's Matt Corral or Sam Darnold, who really knows at this point in the season, but you've got the much better quarterback in that one. Week 13, you play the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore, I'm going to take them at home again. Lamar Jackson's awesome, obviously. You lost to them last year. I think that definitely does matter, even though you have a new coaching staff. I just thought, that game really sticks in my mind, how they were able to move the ball on you guys on the ground and how Lamar played. Lamar's a really good player, man. They've got a great offensive line. I think they can protect. Defensively, they've got a really good secondary. I think they can do a good job versus Russ. And ultimately, that's a well-coached team. Justin Tucker could hit a kick at the end. Who knows? Week 14, you play the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Broncos here. Now, this is the game that you guys have all been waiting for. You want to beat the Chiefs. It's been since 2015 that you haven't beat the Chiefs. You got it right there. Russell Wilson's going to beat the Chiefs week 14. He's going to hand you a present. You're going to beat the Chiefs this year. I'm laying it down. I'm laying down the law. You're going to beat the Chiefs. Week 15, you play the Cardinals. I'm going with the Broncos there as well. I think Russell Wilson outduels Kyler Murray in Denver. Week 16, you play the Rams. I'm going with the Super Bowl champs, Matthew Stafford and the boys. What's my reasoning for that one? Well, Russell Wilson has struggled versus the Rams over the last couple of years, especially with Aaron Donald and that pass rush. So that could be a reason, as well as being on the road. Week 17, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to go with the Chiefs to split with you guys. And as I said, I think the AFC West is so close that it is warranted to take a split with every single one of these games, pretty much. So overall, I have your record at 10-7. I think the Broncos will obviously improve from, I believe they were 7-10 last year, moving up to 10-7. I think that's a big improvement. Adding Russell Wilson, that's obvious. I like some of the moves they've made this offseason. DJ Jones, Randy Gregory, Certainly do. I think their offensive line has more depth, which will help with the strenuous season. But I do question, the coaching staff. I do question the schemes on both sides. I do question the strength of the division, the strength of the conference, which is going to hurt your record. And I ultimately question how talented is this roster truly, because we have not seen it with a great quarterback, and they have underwhelmed even with subpar quarterback play. But I think the Broncos are right now, might be slightly surprising, because I know some people are super high on them. I do have them right outside the playoffs, but that just speaks to how talented the AFC is, that I think the worst team in the AFC has a 10-7 record in terms of the playoff race. So the Broncos are literally tied with my 7th seed. So depending on the day, I might squeak them in the playoffs. But overall, this is a division where 4 teams can make it, and the Broncos got a good opportunity. If they can start strong like I have them here, that would definitely help their odds. We will see what happens, though. Let me know, Broncos fans, what you guys think in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.